Welcome to this explainer. Okay, we're diving right into a concept today that is honestly a total game changer for how we think about work and achievement. So, on the docket, strategic role profiling and competency mapping. Think about navigating organizational growth kind of like sailing a ship across the open ocean. If you don't have a clear destination charted out and a precise map to actually get you there, you're basically just drifting. So today, we're unpacking the exact frameworks organizations use to draw that map. Okay, let's dive into this. Ask yourself, what actually defines success in a specific job? If you really stop and think about it, success isn't just about, say, hitting a massive sales quota or finishing a project by Friday. Those are just the outcomes. The real magic, the actual engine driving that success, lives in the invisible underlying behaviors that a person shows up with every single day. Picture two managers for a second. Both are technical geniuses, right? Absolute experts. But one has this ingrained conflict resolution competency. They can de-escalate a tense team dispute in minutes, get everyone back on track, no sweat. The other? Well, they kind of just shut down or blow up when things go south. It's pretty obvious who succeeds in the long run. We all know someone who is just fundamentally excellent at their job. But pinning down exactly why they're so good, well, that can feel incredibly elusive. Now, here is how we cut right through that mystery. Competency mapping. It formally identifies the behaviors that define success in roles and, this is the crucial part, integrates them into organizational processes. Basically, it takes what usually sounds like pure corporate jargon, buzzwords like leadership skills or synergy, and completely demystifies it. It turns it into a highly practical, observable blueprint for daily performance. This definition right here, this is the ultimate map and compass for any organization. But here's the thing, mapping out these behaviors is literally useless if the map just sits in a drawer gathering dust somewhere. And that brings us from the what to the why. Why do companies actually do this? Well, to build the roads. They need to integrate processes, weaving these identified behaviors right into the everyday organizational landscape. If success is defined by a specific set of behaviors, then the way a company hires, the way they promote, the way they operate, it all needs to be totally aligned with those exact same behaviors. It literally becomes the foundational infrastructure of the entire business. So, how do we actually build this infrastructure? Let's move to the steps and see how this builds, because it's a beautifully structured linear progression. First up, step 1, analyzing jobs. You can't map a route if you don't know the terrain, right? So this involves looking really deeply at what the job actually requires on a day-to-day basis. Then we hit step 2, mapping competencies. This is where we match the specific behaviors we've identified to the job's actual demands. And finally, step 3, linking to training and development. Honestly, this is where the magic happens. By truly understanding the job and the required competencies, you directly pave the road for targeted employee growth. You're not just guessing what training people need anymore. You know exactly what behaviors to develop. And this brilliantly illustrates our next major question. We've shifted from the why to the how, the cartographer's tools. You might be wondering, how on earth do managers and HR folks actually draw out these complex behavioral maps? Because, let's be real, you can't just look at someone and instantly download their behavioral profile. You need specific instruments and highly calibrated techniques to accurately measure and document these competencies we've been talking about. And here they are. These are the precise, practical tools organizations use to measure that human behavior. We start with assessment centers. These put candidates through immersive, simulated scenarios to see how they react in real time. Then there are interviews, but actually, scratch that, not just casual chats. We're talking highly structured interviews designed to dig deep into past behaviors. Next up is critical incident analysis. This one is absolutely fascinating. Think about looking really closely at the exact sequence of events when an employee either saved a massive client account or, completely lost it. It's about isolating exactly which behaviors made the difference in that high-stakes moment. And of course, we round out the whole shebang with questionnaires and psychometric tests. These give you standardized, data-driven insights into a person's underlying traits and cognitive styles. Which brings us right back full circle to this core objective from our source material, identifying the behaviors that define success in roles. Everything we've discussed so far, the analysis, the integration, the psychometric testing, the critical incident reviews, it all exists solely to pinpoint those winning behaviors. Why is this so absolutely crucial? Well, because without this heavily structured approach, organizations just rely on gut feelings, and gut feelings, they usually lead to bad fits. When you align the exact behavioral requirements of a role with the actual behaviors of the person stepping into it, you eliminate the guesswork entirely and create a thriving environment. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Is your success truly mapped out? Whether you're a manager trying to build a high-performing team or a professional navigating your own career path, ask yourself, do you know the exact invisible competencies required to excel where you are right now? Because once you chart those behaviors, you're no longer just drifting, you're navigating straight towards success. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring your potential.